All right, y'all. So I'm sitting here with my man Sawan Belcher today. You guys have seen him on my channel before. We've done some business together. We've done live events together. We've helped other people make money in real estate. And today we're gonna help you, especially if you have a 9 to 5, right? So a lot of people feel like they have to earn income. And when you look at the definition of earned income, that's basically money that you have to go out and work for. As an investor, we don't think that way, right? What we want to do is position ourselves to create income. We want to be able to create situations where we can pay ourselves an annual salary on a monthly basis.
Amen.
You know, a lot of people will make, let's say, $50,000 within a year. What's the average?
It's
about 50 grand.
Yeah, it's like 50 grand. So that's like $4,000 a month.
The annual salary for the average American is $50,000, right? So what we tend to do is create opportunities that will allow us to make that kind of money in a short period of time. You know, recently I posted a $95,000 check on my social platforms, and you saw it. I don't like to post checks all the time, but that was just an example of creating income versus me going out. It took me forever, a whole year, to go out there. Somebody was paying me 95 grand to be able to do exactly what I did, right? So a lot of times when you have people that is focused on earning income, what happens is they're more so looking for a job, and they're more so stuck in that rat race, right? And that rat race is gonna keep you working for the money. And a business owner, the person that is paying you the money in order to be successful, or in order to be able to achieve what you're trying to achieve, a lot of times those people are making all the money and they're paying you a percentage of the bread. You know what I mean? So what you really want to do is focus on creating income. That's what we're going to talk to my man Sawan about today. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? Yo, thanks for having me on, brother.
Oh, man, it's always a pleasure, bro.
Yes, sir. This is actually your first time being at the office since it's been the office.
Yeah. By the way, we in Sawan's office today. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, man, and then we're going to drop some gems on them.
For sure. Sawan Belcher, this is me taking action everywhere on social media. That's how people know me. I actually made that affirmation when I quit my 9 to 5 job. I sold cars. And, and car sales was not a 9 to 5. It was like a 9 to 9. Mm-hmm. And, they celebrate when you work all week long, you know what I mean? Because every day you're there, you have an opportunity to sell. So that's what they wanted, and of course, if you're working every day, you're not spending time, with your family, at church, even just with yourself. And so when I quit, I changed my Instagram name from Crown Honda Sales Guy to This Is Me Taking Action. It was literally me walking out of the door, choosing to do something different. And most people, when they quit a job, they like go into this space like, oh, what I'm gonna do now? Mm-hmm. When I quit, bro, I had the mentality like I'm going to work. Yeah. I felt like I had just gave myself a promotion. And I say that because whenever I was at the car dealership, I was selling, 150 to 200 cars a year, mm-hmm. And so when you look at a business that does 150 or 200 sales, you're making them money, right. So I would make them $10,000. They pay me $500, but they get the benefit of being able to allocate the other $9,500 the way they saw fit. Mm-hmm. That's the difference between, earning money, because I knew I was going to get a commission, and creating money. Right? They used me to generate leads, to make a sale, to make this large amount in one transaction. And now they get the benefit of dispersing that money wherever they want to. Okay. Right. Yeah. So, a lot of people are like so that's what I was telling my mom, I know it's a law that they put the minimum wage in the break room, so minimum wage is in every break room at $7.25, mm-hmm. right? But I think they do that to program us that this is what the standard is. And then as kids, when you're in high school and you go get a job and they pay you $8 because it's more than minimum wage, you say, I did it.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid more than the minimum. But really you just messed up because you just set your standard up based off of somebody else's standards.
You actually lowered your standards.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. But really, when you was a child, you dreamed about mansions, you dreamed about cars. Your dad took you to nice car shows. But they literally just killed it right then and there.
That goes back to the college situation too, man, where, a lot of people don't realize that school was set up to be able to keep you working for somebody else.
For sure.
I think it was the Rockefeller family or something that set up the schooling system to teach you how to go work for them originally and create this rat race.
Yeah, the Rockefellers and the Ford family, they needed to have more good people. They
created the assembly line.
They needed smarter people to work for them, and so that was a good way for them to give people like a chain of command,
right?
So that once you graduated, once you finish high school, you can come work for Ford.
Right. So let's talk about earned income versus creating income, man. Like, why is it not beneficial to earn income? Why would it be beneficial to create income?
Well, think about it like this. Like, if I'm earning income, that insinuates that it takes my time, right? It takes my time to actually make that money. So now your value is based off of time. And so then you start telling yourself, I need to spend more time at work in order to make more. Mm-hmm. Right? But if you start to say that I'm going to create, this is a good example. So in the game Monopoly, me and my kids, we play Monopoly like every month. But in one of the games, in the rules, it says that if the bank runs out of money, they can pick up an ordinary piece of paper, write a $sign on it, and then it can be used like real money.
Oh, that's what the U.S. does.
Right, that's what the U.S. They just created money.
Yeah.
So the banks create money. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when you think about that, it didn't take any time to create it. It says you can pick up any normal piece of paper and write it on it, and you just created it. And so that's powerful because like we don't have to take time to create money. Mm-hmm. We have to use an opportunity. Right? We have to use an opportunity to create it.
Right.
And so, I mean, realistically, it's way easier to make $100,000 than it is to make $1,000.
Bro, way easier. It takes a lot less time too, man.
Exactly.
It's just it really is a mental shift. See, me
for sure.
I never had a 9-to-5 job, man, so I don't know what it is to work for somebody else.
Yeah.
My entire life, I've always been in some type of business or some type of hustle myself. You know what I mean? So talking to the people, I'm a family-oriented entrepreneur.
That's for sure.
I talk to people who want to change their lives for their families. A lot of people have 9-to-5s, right? What can they do? Like, what are some of the things that they can get into in order to be able to shift from working at 9-to-5? Yeah. In order to start creating opportunities that can pay them a lot more.
Break that mindset. So check that. Like I said, the first thing that the system does is show you how much your worth is. That minimum wage. Break that. There's no standard on that. The second thing people do is they make it like advantageous for you to work for them by saying, hey, I'm going to provide you healthcare. I'm going to provide you with taking out your taxes beforehand. I'm going to provide you with a 401k. Really, you're paying for all of that stuff anyway, but in our eye, they spin it as though that they did us a favor for us to pay them to provide those things. Either way, you paid.
Right. So let's take a step back for a second, right? So let's think about breaking that mindset. A lot of people, are programmed to believe that working a 9-to-5 is the way to go.
For sure.
And then you got to work for 40 years, and then you just have just enough.
Right.
You can rely on Social Security, a little bit of a pension, which is going to run out before you die anyway.
For sure.
So, like, how can you break that mindset, man?
Well, I call it the gas tank on E mindset, because like really, your car still runs on E.
That's right.
You know what I mean? But you just choosing to be on E. So one way that I'm still getting closer, and I think we're all getting better, but one thing that I did was really find out what I want. Mm-hmm. Okay. Like before fear hits you, without the emotions of, your wife or your kids, what do you want? You know what I mean? And then you set that as your standards to what you want. So one thing that I like doing is I don't like shopping at TJ Maxx. I don't like going to Dollar Tree. There's just not the people that I want to talk to, how I want to feel. They're not there, you know? And so when you say, well, I'm only going to shop at this store, you're going to feel some kind of way. So you might have to, that's your standard now. So that's the first thing. It's just figuring out exactly what you want. And then secondly, you're going to have to start saying better things to yourself.
Right.
You know? So let me give you one example.
I mean, you know how many quality conversations I had at Roof Chris that I would never have at McDonald's?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, and it's but that's like the whole key, because like I told you before when we come on here, one thing that my family members down in the country would say when you say, hey, how are you doing? They say, hey, it's another day, another dollar. And as a child being 10 or 12 years old, in your mind, you didn't add it up, but in your mind, you subconsciously thought, okay, cool, $30 a month. You know? And it's like, you have to start thinking bigger than that. You see what I'm saying? You got to start thinking bigger than that. Even my cousin, that's my acquisition, he said that to me the other day. I said, bro, another day, another $10,000 at least. You know, why would you not say 10,000?
That's right.
Why would you say $1?
Level up, man.
Yeah, because you're keeping your gas tank on E if you're thinking that small.
That's right.
And so if you start to know what you want, and then you start watching the things that you say, your brain will start to like get to what you want. Yeah. You know what I mean? But you have to know what you want first.
One thing I tell people all the time, man, is the person you are today is a direct reflection of the decisions that you made throughout your life.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So the way you talk to yourself,
for sure,
the decisions that you make will reflect the way you talk to yourself, and you become that person whether you know it or not.
For sure.
So you, like you said, you got to be careful with how you say things. And these affirmations, people don't, you know, affirmations is neither here or there, but the way you talk, your ears are listening to how you sound.
For sure.
And the words that you use. And ultimately that can lead into
Let me give you an
success
example.
or not.
Let me give you an example. So before, you know, we knew how to print money with wholesaling or real estate, right? I had my girlfriend, which is my wife now. Okay. I wanted to take her to a Panthers, you know, football game. Okay. I know I couldn't afford the tickets, but instead of telling her that we can't afford to go, I say, yo, let's go tailgate. See, my brain, I knew I wanted to take her to the football game. My brain figured out a way to make it happen. And I knew I could definitely pay $40 for the tickets.
That's right.
To park so we can tailgate. And now we at the game.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but if you tell yourself, oh no, we can't afford to go to the game, then you're just going to be at home.
So you got to become a creative thinker at the end of the day,
man. You got to think. You got to think.
And as an entrepreneur, you should be a creative thinker. You should develop yourself into a creative thinker anyway. When I was 18, 19 years old trying to figure out certain things, I wasn't as much of a creative thinker as I am today. But let me just tell you a little bit of a story, man. So, you know, I started off selling newspapers at 7. I was cutting hair and hustling people in checker games at 9 years old, right? By the time I was 15, I owned a barbershop.
Oh, nice.
Right? With a partner. And I didn't have any money. This was somebody who had some money. He wanted to open up a barbershop. I said, I'll be your partner. And we split the money.
Nice.
Right? I was 15 years old. Here's another one. I went and worked at a barbershop. Now, a barbershop is self-employment. I wanted to hustle up more money. So what did I do? I drove cabs in New York City, not the yellow cabs. I worked at, it was this place on 4th Avenue and 16th Street in Brooklyn called International.
Yeah.
Right? And this is before Uber and all of that other stuff came out. But this is the power of creative thinking. So I didn't have a car. What I did was I went to one of the guys who owned the car there who was driving for the service.
For sure.
And I said, I'll give you $60 and fill up your gas if you let me drive your car every day, you know, after I close down the barbershop.
Yeah.
He agreed. I turned that into $200 a day.
Exactly.
Now, I didn't understand the power of being an entrepreneur, right? But if I did, I would have hired somebody and paid them and split the money with them. And now I don't have to work.
That's how you create.
That's how you create.
That's how you create.
Exactly.
Yeah,
man.
exactly.
And that's where I was going with
Amen. Amen. That's,
you know?
See, but I think it really takes an exercise of thinking to really figure it out.
It really does,
you
man.
know, because it's a mindset shift. Yeah. It really is. Because everybody says, oh, I got to get this overtime. Let me get this OT. Let me get this OT. But do you really? my little sister, she stays in one of my houses down here on Willow, right? And I mean, really, I could rent out the house for $1,250, but I rent it out to my little sister for $950. And she's like, yo, Sawan, I wanna move. I said, where you gonna move to? She said, well, I'm gonna move to this apartment. I said, how much the rent gonna be? It's gonna be $800. It's gonna save me like $150 a month. I said, honey, do you really think saving $150 a month is gonna give you the dream life that you're looking to get?
Not at all.
Seriously. And it's really just, and she's like, well, I guess you're right. And she said, what should I do then? I said, honey, you should think about creating money as much as you're thinking about saving money.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people try to get discounts. A lot of people have the discount
For sure.
mindset, man.
For sure.
Rather than saying, let me do this, and then I'll figure out how I'm gonna pay for it.
Exactly.
That's how you become a creator.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So the way me and you talk to each other, a lot of times when we have conversations, it's never about how I'm taking something away.
Exactly.
Right? I'm never trying to take anything away from myself.
And even yesterday, I was like, yo, let me help you with that.
Yeah,
creating.
Exactly. Exactly, man, creating. And those are the type of people that you want to be around.
Yeah.
When you're around employee mindset people,
for sure,
you're gonna continuously be an employee. They say you are the closest 5 people you hang around. Think about everybody you hang around at work.
For sure.
They're all employees, man. They all want a paycheck. So naturally you're gonna be that way. Now, sometimes you're in a position where you gotta have that income coming in until you build up.
Amen.
Because I would never tell anybody to leave
right
sure income for hopeful income.
For sure.
Right? Because an entrepreneur's income is hopeful income.
For sure.
Until you solidify passive income that comes in every month, right? But just think about being the creative type. You can still separate yourself from everybody at work, spend less time with them after work, and still be a leader while you're in work. And then at the end of the day, you can still create your opportunity as long as you're willing to put in the work after you leave the job. You know what I mean? So that ties right into creative real estate investing and some of the stuff that we wanted to talk about to give you guys a game plan, man. So why don't we talk a little bit about that, bro?
For sure. So the way we're going to create income is, of course, we're a real estate investor, so we're going to use real estate to do that. But like I said, with that monopoly rule, right, they could literally just create money. So we have to figure out how we can do that with real estate. All right. And essentially, if we're able to find a property, let's call it that house on Willow where my sister stays, right? I picked up that property for $50,000. I held on to it for a year, and when I refinanced the property, it appraised at $150,000. So essentially, I created $100,000 in that transaction. Okay, I didn't have to do more than I was already doing in order to increase that income. Just by doing what I already did, it created more money. So in real estate, the way we're going to create money is through equity. And so equity is essentially, what you owe now, minus what you can sell it for right now as is.
Right.
Okay. And I think once people realize that, they'll focus on, well, how the freak do we find these kind of opportunities? And then secondly, how do we find a way to fund these opportunities so that way I can do as many deals as possible without having to think about it?
And that comes with being around the right people.
For sure.
And I'll give you an example of that as well. I just won a property on auction.com.
Nice.
Right? And that's just one of the ways that I buy real estate. And like you said, creating equity, I verified what the property would be worth before I actually bought it. So my realtor is telling me close to $200,000.
Yeah.
Right? I got the property for $88,001.
Nice.
Right? So $88,001 today. We literally, 2 hours ago, I signed the contract. And by putting $40,000 into the property, that's going to give me that $200,000 valuation. So I'll be all into the house at $130,000.
Yeah.
Right? That means I have $70,000 in profit just off of one opportunity.
Right.
Now check it out. I can use my own money to fund it, but while I'm sitting here talking to Sawan, we created an opportunity. He has a private lender who wants a flat fee, and just by paying that flat fee, I don't have to come out of my pocket with my own money. I can use that for another opportunity. So yeah, I'll give up whatever that fee is, whatever those points are, make a little less money. Even if I made $50,000, That's $50,000 more than what I had, and I don't have any money, any skin in the game.
Exactly.
That's creating an opportunity and networking with the right people, and that's how you guys do it. You know what I mean? So how can we do that through creative finance, bro?
So the way that we fund these kind of deals, in my opinion, my strongest success honestly has been from either if the house is paid off, persuading and putting a little sales game on and showing the seller how it's more beneficial for him to become the bank and hold the note, for me to give him a fair amount down. This is what you say to him. If I pay the price that you want, would you consider a fair amount down, and I'll pay you over time? So attorneys call that seller financing.
Yep.
Okay. And secondly is when the seller already has the best terms, that already have a loan in place, and we're just going to take those terms over. Because really, funding, in my opinion, is probably about the strongest thing that a real estate investor has.
Yeah.
In his box. You know what I mean? Most people, when they get a loan, they have to have nice clean credits.
Yep.
They got taxes for the last 2 years. They got to be on the job for the same 2 years. They have so many different regulations.
Sure.
But as an investor, our tools are what we know, and so we know that the seller, ownership is just a piece of paper.
That's right.
A deed of trust is just a piece of paper. So if we can get someone to see that this is paper, and see that there's value in that, we can actually just move things around. So that way the seller can either come off of the property completely through subject to, or the seller can be in a spot where they'll actually become the bank. This is my close. Have you ever read that Bible? Have you ever read that Bible verse where it says that you should become the lender and not the borrower? This is God giving you your chance. And most of the time they're like, yeah, all the time. Because some people, it's a mindset shift.
Yeah.
It's not that they're losing. So the same thing with the house that I just bought. The guy absolutely, because he paid cash for that. He built the house brand new. Paid a 1.1 million to build it. Paid cash to buy all 4 of the pieces of property to build this joint. So he's thinking cash. Okay. So for me to get his thinking on why this would be beneficial, one of the things that he said, well, before I agree with you, I need to talk to my CPA to see what my tax is going to look like. And I said, well, ask him about the taxes if you were to not take that full amount, if you were to just take a portion of
defer the payments.
Yeah, exactly. Right. If you would defer the payments. And if he says it would be beneficial for you to do that, then call me back. And he called me back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so so when you have tools like that gives us a clear advantage to create, because we didn't have to bring money. And we just created it.
And that comes with information, knowledge,
for sure,
etc., man.
For sure.
This is how once you understand how to play the game. We wasn't born with this information.
That's for sure.
You know what I mean? We gathered this information over time. And again, by being surrounded with the right people, man, this is how you create opportunities at the end of the day.
That's for sure. That's for sure. I was blessed to be in, I was blessed to actually have the faith to get in some of those rooms. Because once you get in the right rooms with the right people and they say one thing, that throws gas on your fire, you know what I mean? It just takes you to the next level.
We get that on the YouTube comments a lot, man. I got this one video I got over 2 million views on. By far one of my biggest videos, how to buy your first rental property even if you're broke.
Nice.
Right? I get so much hate on that video because people don't understand. They just don't understand the concept and the thinking of an investor. For sure. So they're like, there's no way this is possible. I just had one today. The guy said, this all sounds good, but it also sounds shady and all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, it's going to be shady if you think it's shady. For sure. There's absolutely nothing shady about it.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? Or people will say something like, no seller is going to take their payments over time. Oh, yeah. That's never going to happen. Yeah. How many times has that happened for you, bro?
Oh, bro, it just happened to me 4 times in the last 30 days.
I just got 4 doors on YouTube on a video, between 2 videos, 4 doors through seller financing.
Right. I saw Mr. Tony at Stephanie's after church. He was like, yo, I just picked up 17 properties subject to from one seller. And so, I mean, and I always tell people, like, we didn't just make this up. People have been doing this for years,
man.
For years. And if you don't mind, I want to do a little test in the comments real quick, because people always start to understand a little bit after this. Okay, so if you're watching this now and you have a traditional loan, right? You went through the traditional way of qualifying for a loan, getting a realtor, buying it, and getting a traditional loan. Put a 1 in the comments below. Okay, most people don't know that whoever originated the loan doesn't keep that piece of paper.
They sell it.
So in 30 days, okay, you guys that put a 1 in the chat that own a property, the original loan, put a 2 in the chat if 30 to 45 days later you got another, letter saying, hey, this bank, A bank, sold it to this other bank. Don't pay us no more, pay them.
Yep.
Okay, put a 2 in the chat. And you guys will understand that the owner didn't change, but the deed of trust changes. So they sold that piece of paper. And this is seller financing and subject to. It's nothing but us doing the same thing that the banks have been doing for years.
That's it, man. And once you understand that concept, you'll understand how you can make money the same way the banks
for sure
make money as well.
That's for sure.
It really is that simple. So if you had to take anything away from what we're talking about here, the thing is, don't overcomplicate the situation. Don't overcomplicate the business. And you have to believe in the business a little bit more if you doubt any of it because you haven't done it yet. There's millions of people. Would you say millions?
Millions
of people making money doing this.
For sure.
Right now. And just because you haven't done it doesn't mean it doesn't work. You know what I mean? So I know you got something coming up, man.
Oh, for sure.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, Jamel always does me a favor and jumps on it and shares on those. So I figured I'd share the class with you guys. But August the 26th, I do a live training on this. So that way I can show you guys how to find the exact seller that you're looking for. Because we don't want to talk to everybody in the county. We don't want to talk to 1 million people. We just want to talk to that, 2 or 3% of the people who will actually consider this. And then I also train you guys on what exactly to say to them. And then more importantly, I have my attorney come on the call and he goes through all of the paperwork that you need to know and have so that way you can do these transactions. And at the end of that call is a 5-hour training. At the end of that call, we go over 5 different ways for you to close that property and get paid to either keep it or to sell it. And once again, it's once we learn how to do it, it's about doing it as many times as possible. That's right. Absolutely, over and over again. So on August 26th, definitely join in on the class. I have the most students that have I don't know if you know Noah, but Noah lives in Cleveland. He actually just sent me a 42 unit deal, subject to. But he went from teaching, biology, high school biology. In 3 months, he left his job. 9 months, he had 30 rental doors, all subject to.
Nice, man.
And if you consider, let's call it a net profit of $300 per door, my man's bringing in 10 grand cash flow in 9 months. You know what I mean? And when you learn something this powerful, it really could be that fast, And
a lot of it is, like you said, is creating the opportunities and knowing how to create them and knowing how to speak to the sellers in order to be able to do it.
And doing it as many times as possible.
Exactly, man. There's no limit to the amount of...
Exactly.
Right?
Some of these guys do, 200, 300, 500 of these things. Like I said, Mr. Tony bought, let's see, I'll go by. Mr. Tony bought 17. They want me to come ride. Mr. Tony bought 17 from one seller in one day. So it's really just about doing it as many times as possible.
That's it, man. So listen, I'm going to leave the links that you need to join Sawan in the description box of this video. Make sure you check it out. Look, all we're trying to do here is provide you guys with value, give you a mindset shift. If you're working a 9 to 5, it's totally okay, right? But you have to get out of that 9 to 5 mindset. You can build a real estate portfolio while you have that 9 to 5.
Amen.
But the goal should be to use it to get out of the 9 to 5 as quickly as possible, right? So you can replace your income through, with real estate, to get out of that job that you're working right now. So any last words for our listeners, man?
For sure. So just remember why real estate is so powerful in order to create this kind of income is, number one, we create income with equity, okay? We also create income by being able to get paid monthly. Okay, we create income by using all of those income, by using all of that, the property and all, protecting ourselves from taxes, while we create income with appreciation. And so you learning how to do this is not just creating money in one different way. It's creating it 5 different ways, which is going to cause you to grow 5 times faster than you in your current situation at your job. You only got one source of income at your job. With one house, you got 5.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. Now look, this is a little bit of a spoiler. Sawan and I are going to be doing some coaching stuff together. So we're going to be doing a lot of business together, part of each other's team. And, at the end of the day, again, the goal is to help you get from where you are to where you want to go. So, I'm a family-oriented entrepreneur. Sawan has more kids than me.
Amen.
You know what I mean? You got 6, right?
I got 6. Yep, 5 girls, 1 boy.
I got 5. I got 4 girls and 1 boy.
Yeah.
So we're both family-oriented entrepreneurs, and we want to see families win. That's what this is all about. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Be sure to like it, subscribe, click the notification bell. I'll see y'all on the next one.